The auction of the ancient drive. In a world driven by cold data and rigid algorithms, well, there occasionally occur moments that just completely defy all logic. This is the story of numbers, nostalgia, and the precise moment an artificial mind tried to calculate the actual weight of a human heart.
It's midday in a crowded, sun-drenched farmyard. The air is thick with the smell of dry earth. Flatbed trailers are parked end to end, literally groaning under the weight of rusted junk, forgotten relics, and the discarded tools of a dozen generations. And dropping right into the middle of this intense sensory overload is an artificial mind experiencing the whole scene through a very, very different kind of lens.
The market analysis begins. Artie, an advanced analytical android, stands quietly amidst the chaos of the yard. He's bathed in the subtle, flickering blue and amber glow, his optical sensors darting rapidly from object to object. Digital price tags and utility metrics are floating seamlessly across his field of vision. He is, by all accounts, a creature of pure, unadulterated logic.
In Artie's vision, Lot 42 is a rusted, pitted iron horseshoe. His database instantly cross-references its material composition, notes its severely degraded state, and confirms its zero practical utility, calculating an estimated market value of exactly 14 cents. Right beside it is Lot 43, a shiny, highly functional cordless power drill. Artie's system tags its resale value in immediate practical use at a solid $45. To Artie, the math is absolute. It's flawless. Turning to his human companion, Artie reports with a flawless, robotic cadence. Caleb, I have indexed the inventory. Lot 42 is a biological and structural failure. A rusted iron horseshoe. Estimated market value, 14 cents. He pauses, letting that irrefutable data settle. I recommend we focus our capital on Lot 43, the cordless drill. For the android, there is absolutely no debate here. You buy what works, you ignore what's broken. Caleb, Artie's mentor, just looks at the android with a warm, knowing smile. He responds with a gravelly, patient tone that completely contrasts with Artie's rigid digital precision. Watch the crowd, Artie, Caleb says softly. The numbers don't know what's about to happen.
And then the frantic bidding starts. The quiet indexing is completely over. The lazy midday heat is shattered by the sharp, ringing voice of the man on the flatbed. The auction has officially commenced.
The auctioneer becomes an absolute blur of motion up on that flatbed trailer. He grabs the rusted horseshoe, Lot 42, Artie's 14-cent piece of literal trash, and holds it high. His voice is a rapid-fire chant. Give me 5, now 10, 10, now 20, 25, 30, do I hear 40? And the crowd just erupts. Down in the front row, Silas, a weathered local farmer, and Mrs. Higgins, a stern woman from down the road, are practically leaping out of their boots. They're leaning forward, hands darting into the air in a frantic, desperate rhythm. They are fighting tooth and nail over this rusted old shoe.
For Artie, this defies every known law of economics. 28,000%. That is the stark number currently flashing across Artie's internal interface. It's a massive, unprecedented error code. His algorithms are screaming. A 28,000% markup on a functionally dead asset isn't just an anomaly, it is a catastrophic system failure happening in real time.
Artie is now in full-blown system panic. His internal cooling fans are whirring loudly, spinning up just to manage the sudden thermal spike from his overtaxed processors. Warning lights flash a brilliant red across his chassis. "Caleb, stop them!" Artie urges, genuinely alarmed. This is a massive market inefficiency. Silas is currently bidding 28,000% above the material value of the iron. It is literal trash. He simply cannot comprehend why these locals are aggressively liquidating their assets for something that has completely lost its physical utility.
But Caleb doesn't panic. He just calmly watches Silas's desperate face. It's not iron to him, Artie, Caleb explains, his voice barely audible over the auctioneer's frantic chant. That shoe was nailed over the barn door the day his granddad came home from the war. He's not buying metal, he's buying back his own shadow.
It's a complete utility paradox. The frantic bidding suddenly halts as the auctioneer's hammer falls with a heavy, definitive crack. The deed is done. Silas has won. He walks up, pays an exorbitant sum for the rusted iron, and clutches the horseshoe to his chest like a solid bar of gold. But the auction isn't over yet.
The auctioneer wipes his brow, reaches back into the pile on the flatbed, and casually holds up the very next item.
It's Lot 43, the shiny, highly functional, completely operational power drill that Artie had so confidently recommended. The auctioneer's tone shifts from frantic excitement to just mundane routine. Lot 43, he announces flatly. Power drill? Works fine. Who'll give me high bucks? It is a complete and utter contrast to the frenzy that just happened moments ago.
And then, an abrupt silence falls over the farmyard. It's deafening. No one leaps forward. No hands dart into the air. The locals who were just moments ago willing to empty their wallets for a rusted shoe are completely disinterested in a tool that could actually help them build a barn. Finally, a teenager standing way in the back simply shrugs and half-heartedly raises a hand. The hammer falls instantly. Sold. $5. A quiet, incredibly anticlimactic sale that completely and totally inverts all of Artie's logical models.
Artie's visual interface simply displays a flashing logic error icon. He looks at Caleb, unable to reconcile verified utility with zero perceived value. "I do not understand," Artie says, his voice tinged with genuine confusion. "The drill has verified resale value and high utility. The horseshoe has zero. Why does the village value the garbage more than the gear?"
Which reveals the covenant of value. The noise of the auction starts fading into the background. The dust begins to settle in the midday sun as Caleb turns to Artie, ready to finally define the missing variable in Artie's code. Caleb speaks slowly, letting the distinction hang heavily in the warm air. "Because you can buy a drill at any big box store, Artie," Caleb explains. "It's a commodity. It has no story. But that horseshoe? It belongs to this soil." A brand new definition forms right then in Artie's databanks: covenant-based value. Not what someone else will pay for it on the open market, but what it would cost the heart to lose it. As Artie processes this entirely new variable, his whirring cooling fans finally start to quiet down. His processing lights slow their frantic rhythm and shift into a deep, contemplative amber.
Caleb watches the amber light reflect in Artie's optical sensors. He knows the lesson has finally landed. He gives a final, quiet confirmation. "Exactly," Caleb whispers softly. "True North isn't a price tag."
Artie turns his gaze back across the farmyard. He watches Silas. The old farmer is standing near his truck, gently polishing the rust off the ancient iron shoe with the pad of his thumb, a look of profound peace settling over his weathered face. Artie doesn't see biological and structural failure anymore. He sees the shadow of a grandfather coming home from war. Artie's own amber glow settles into a quiet, respectful warmth, harmonizing beautifully with the midday sun.
With his internal database forever altered, Artie issues a final, simple system update. Status: market re-indexed, registry covenant-based.